Good morning. It's Tuesday, August 23rd. And right now, the primary season is running down. It's coming towards an end. And I've never been a big voter in the primaries. So it's with great interest that I have watched some of these things occur. And what I have seen is that many Trump-supported candidates have won. And it appears to me that these candidates are less qualified than their own party compatriots who were trying to win the primaries. And this, I believe, has left the Republicans in a very weak spot for upsetting their Democratic, in many cases, incumbents, and in many cases, candidates like themselves. So we have found, like in a heavily Democratic state like Maryland, and another heavily Democratic state like Massachusetts, the Republicans could have fielded a moderate candidate, somebody sort of center-right, who would appeal to voters of both parties. But they didn't. And that's a strategy that had worked in the past. But instead, the Republican candidates who won their primaries, were Trumpsters. I don't even know if they were really Trumpsters, but they were supported by Trump. He verbally supported them, and even in many cases was seen shaking their hands or hugging them. But nevertheless, he supported them, and they knocked off the more moderate Republican candidates. So this trend of Republican voters nominating loyalists of the former President Trump in many Democratic states is very likely to backfire on the Republican Party. Because let's face it, even candidates in strong Republican areas have to have some experience, as opposed to just mouthing their loyalty and carrying on about the election fraud. Many of these candidates who were supported by Donald Trump also believe in the election fraud. And many of these candidates have little or no experience in the political world. People like Herschel Walker, the football star, is a Trumpite, but he has no political experience. Just look at what happened in Arizona. The former news anchor, Kari Lake, who has said she would not have certified President Biden's 2020 victory. Imagine, that was one of her points. Elect me because I would not have certified Joe Biden's victory. She was supported by Trump. And she defeated a businesswoman and a lawyer, Karen Taylor Robson, who was endorsed by Vice President Mike Pence and the outgoing governor, Doug Ducey. So you got two high-ranking Republican officials who endorsed Robson, but that was not good enough to overcome the endorsement of Donald Trump. So we have a novice and an election denier who's running for office in Arizona. Maybe it doesn't make a difference in Arizona, but maybe it does. We shall see. So if you look at Trump's record in the White House and how many people went through that revolving door, you know that Trump doesn't pay attention to the minutia. He selects people who he believes he can control. He wants people who agree with him. If you looked at his intelligence advisor, Bolton lasted a year on the job because he fought with Trump continually about his decisions. And Bolton is now a Trump naysayer. And then there are others high up in the Republican Party who have said privately they would not vote for anyone who seeks the support of Donald Trump, because that indicates that these people have flawed characters. And anybody who votes for a Trump supported person is not sure what they intend to do if they're elected. Will they vote according to the ideals of their supporter, Donald J. Trump? The frightening answer is probably yes. The primary season is not over yet, and Trump has supported 42 candidates thus far, and most of them have won. And that's a good thing for the Democrats, because in my mind, most of those people who have won are not as qualified as the Republicans that they beat out. And they're certainly not as qualified as the Democrats who already hold the seat. So Donald Trump is doing us a favor by putting forward non-qualified people to run for these offices. And maybe some of them will win, but I'm betting that the majority of them won't win unless the state is a heavily Republican state and it doesn't matter who they put in that office. So Donald Trump hasn't learned that he has to keep his mouth shut. He hasn't learned. It's not always good to be in the forefront. And in this case, he's probably doing the Republican Party a disservice. And I think Mitch McConnell is right. He's not happy with Donald. And he's not happy about the quality of the people who are running for the U.S. Senate as Republicans. And he has openly complained about the quality of candidates. And probably a couple of those candidates at the very least have gotten Donald Trump's support. So Trump has his thumb in the pie, so to speak. And hopefully he's getting burned. I leave you with that this morning. And maybe this will turn out good for the Democrats in the current election. But I think in the Congress they may lose the Congress and win the Senate. Or maybe they'll get lucky and they'll win both of them. It's something to watch. So keep your eye on it. And I'm sure you'll have no trouble keeping your eye on Donald Trump because he's not going away no matter what happens. So have a great day. Take care. See you in the morning. Bye.